Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here or have recently subscribed, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're new to my channel, my name is Amy. I love makeup. That basically kind of sums it up. I just love all things beauty, makeup, skincare, anything that makes you feel good. It's fun. It is the lighter part of life in my world, so I really enjoy it and I love to come here and share it with you guys. So that's what we're going to do today. And I don't need to chit chat anymore. Let's go ahead and start using the products, and then I can always chit chat some more. I didn't even tell you guys what we're doing. So today we are trying out new drugstore makeup. So some of them you may have seen already, but a lot of them hopefully are new to you as they are new to me. So the first thing we're going to talk about is this giant Real Technique sponge. I mean, look at it. It is like a fourth of my face. So this is the Miracle Face and Body for bronzer, tanner, and foundation. It does say face and body. I have seen a few people use this for foundation, like legit uses for foundation. I'm gonna try it that way because it would be really cool and in theory maybe speed up your application a little bit. You guys know I love my beauty blender and I love my Stands Out beauty sponge. I haven't really used a Real Technique sponge in quite some time. They are really good though. The foundation I'm gonna be trying out is the Maybelline Fit Me. So I think this just has a new packaging, but I've never tried this personally. It is the Dewy and Smooth Fit Me foundation. So this one has an SPF 18 and this one is for normal to dry skin. I have a little bit more of like a dry combo skin, but I really love hydrating foundations. I am going to quickly prime with the Wet n Wild Water Drop Primer in Coconut. So this one is a new one to me as well. I love the spray, the 3-in-1 spray. I think it's 3-in-1 that you can use for prep or setting. I just realized that I left the store without the new L'Oreal setting spray. This smells good. It really sinks right into my skin. So that feels very nice. It is a little bit more of a hydrating primer, but it doesn't feel oily or greasy. So if you're a combo, I think you'd still probably be okay with that one. And in the Fit Me foundation, I got the shade 115 Ivory. This is definitely a little bit dark for my usual color, but I don't have anything that is a little bit darker, and as you can see I have a tan. This is partial self-tan, partial real tan. I don't know what I'm gonna look like when it's done, but I did start doing a little bit more self-tanning recently and I want to keep it up. So I figured a darker foundation would really come in handy. I do have a backup sponge just in case this one just absolutely, wow, because this sponge may be just too big for concealer. So I have a little backup one. I don't know about y'all, but that looks pretty good. Wow. The only thing I'm not liking about this is the just like pour packaging. And I don't mean pour, I mean like pour it out. Clearly I don't know how to pronounce those words, but I would much rather have like a pump, not necessarily a wand. Those aren't really my favorite foundations, but something else. I'm actually really surprised that I haven't tried this foundation out sooner. This looks really nice. I'm gonna dab just a little bit where I need a little extra coverage. I actually think this is going to be a pretty decent color. It's not so dark that I need like a super dark tan to match it, which is nice. So even though it is a little bit darker than my usual, it is not bad. I can definitely make this work. And this definitely has a little bit of a luminous finish. You can see a little healthy shine through the skin, but it's not overly dewy. If you're like, oh my god, I cannot stand it, I don't want to look oily, I don't think this is going to do that. It has more of a natural kind of finish to it to me, just with a little bit of a glow. So right now there are a lot of new drugstore concealers. So I actually picked up a total of 3 new concealers. I wasn't quite sure which one I wanted to use today. So I have the new Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage. I have the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover. And then the one I think I'm going to use today is the Milani Conceal and Perfect Longwear Concealer. So we're going to go in with this Milani one and see how we do. Just first swipe, this feels like it has a kind of thick consistency. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just kind of surprised me. I don't know, I wasn't expecting something so thick, but it does say that it is long wearing, so we're gonna give it a go. I'm going to attempt this big ass sponge under my eye, and if not, I do have a little L'Oreal sponge we can try out. Ooh, okay. It's drying really fast. I'm gonna go in with this little L'Oreal Infallible concealer sponge because I am drying down over here really quick. I just was not expecting it to dry down so fast. I'm just going to work in areas and try to fix that. Well, the rest I haven't been getting lately has just been covered up. A tip from me to you, if you do happen to pick up this concealer, one section at a time, and I'm just so used to my favorite concealers like Shape Tape, the Jeffree Star concealer, NARS Radiant Creamy, any of those. Like, I don't have to be in a major rush. I don't know how there's already a tear in the sponge. There's like a little torn section of the sponge. I don't know. This has dried down so much, and it's almost drying to kind of a powder finish because I tried to blend a little bit of foundation because it was just so bright. No, it rejected that idea entirely, so I'm just gonna try to fix that with my big sponge. So it's got 186 reviews and 119 of them are 5-star. So I'm seeing some people say that it wasn't enough coverage. I mean, it isn't 100% full coverage for sure. It has the consistency of one that should have full coverage, but it's kind of medium. This person said it didn't crease. Okay, so one person said it just looks so crepey, dry, and cakey under my eyes. If you touch a part of your face or if it gets wet at all, including with a setting spray, it comes off in patches. Okay, this has insane full coverage though, so I enjoyed that. I kind of feel that way because trying to layer even like just a little bit of foundation, which I always typically do, I usually don't have a problem doing that. It like definitely picked it up, moved it, was not happy with that at all. But before I make any big judgments, so let me go in with some powder. So I picked up the Revlon Photo Ready Candid Anti-Pollution Setting Powder. So the anti-pollution really caught my eye. So I'm interested to see if this will be different than any other regular setting powders, but it says that it has sheer coverage to set makeup for lasting wear, antioxidants, anti-pollution, and infused with vitamin E. Has no sulfates or phthalates and no harsh fragrances or dyes. So I am really keen to find a drugstore setting powder that I really love. I am right now obsessed with the Jeffree Star one. I use the Pretty Vulgar one a lot. I just haven't found any drugstore ones where I'm like, yes, that is my setting powder. I need that. So I'm really interested to see how this one goes. Not that this concealer really needs a lot of powder, but of course it will help it not to crease. It's really not creasing bad on me even on its own. I'm just going to use the warmth of my finger to kind of tap out the little bit of creasing that I do have. So it's not like showing up crazy or anything, not that it really would, but you know, some powders when you put them on, they kind of show up a lot. I can already tell you this is not my favorite combo. I feel like I already look dry under the eyes. I am going to make sure and just dust off any excess because I feel like it's probably going to accentuate. So I don't want to leave it baking or anything. So I'm going to pick up a little bit more of that powder with just like a fluffy crease brush and just make sure I've got that area. I'm not going to go over the entire lid with powder, but I am going to just like hit that inner corner. Personally, I'm not loving this concealer, and I hate to say that because I love Milani products. They have blushes, highlights, and lips that I really, really love, but the concealer to me is just a little bit thick. It's a little bit dry, and I'm already dry, and in addition to that, I've just been back from the beach, so my skin is really parched. So I think my skin is probably exaggerating the dryness of this product. Not that it's the worst in the world, but I don't think it's going to be perfect for me. So let's just move right along. I'm going to use a tiny bit of this powder to set my face. I'm going to go really gently. The thing I'm noticing is that it is very, very fine in consistency. Like, it is hardly there. Fine powders can be really nice, but they're not always the absolute best. Sometimes I find that they can be a little bit dry. It doesn't look like a lot, but it is flying around my vanity room right now. I've got the fan going because it's so warm, and I can definitely see it going around the room. So I'm noticing here where I have a little bit of discoloration at the top of my forehead. I don't know why that's always a spot for me, and that foundation didn't really cut it there, so it's definitely more like medium coverage. That's my really only problem area. I've got a couple little spots here that are peeking through. I don't mind it at all though. Like, if you know what you're getting out of it, if you're getting some medium coverage, it's more of a natural luminous finish in my opinion. The foundation actually dried down a lot more than I thought it would. I thought it would be a little bit more dewy, a little bit more shiny, and man, that concealer dried so fast. So again, just take all of that with a grain of salt, knowing that my skin is a little on the dry side right now, so I think it's probably having an effect on that. I'm not really sold one way or the other on this powder so far, but I am intrigued to try it more. I will definitely try these products again. This is just like a first impression, but so far so good. The concealer, but I am really liking everything else. I think the Maybelline Fit Me Dewy and Smooth is going to be really nice for me. And speaking of Maybelline, let's go in with this City Bronzer. It is a bronzer and contour powder, so we're going to try it out for both. This is the shade right here. It is number 100. I think it's going to be a good shade for me right now. This is a big Morphe brush. It's more of like a tapered powder, but I'm just going to kind of contour and bronze with it. I'm going to try it for both. I do like in the summertime products that I can kind of multi-purpose contour and bronze. Starting with the outermost perimeter of my face. I will get a little bit more precise with the contouring, but right now I'm just hitting all those high points. Things are not really settling well around the edges of that concealer. I'm seeing things get a little bit cakey and disturbed. I don't know, I feel like lately my skin has gotten drier than normal, and products that probably would have worked for me now don't. Usually in the summertime I get oilier, but this year it's not really happening. I'm still dry, and I am using all of these really hydrating products. Everything's going to work differently for everyone. We've all got different skin types and different preferences, so if you are in love with that Milani concealer, then be in love with it. Makeup is so personal and everybody has a little bit of a different opinion on it. So I think that's what makes it fun though. I don't know if you guys can see what's happened here, but right along like literally the edge of where I would put like the triangle for my concealer, it's very splotchy. Like the foundation and concealer didn't really groove together, which is, you know, they're two different consistencies, so I'm not surprised. I find that with some formulas that's not a problem, and with others it is. I'm actually really loving this bronzer. It is a great color. I would say this color is kind of in between the Too Faced Milk Chocolate and Chocolate, so it's kind of like that good in-between shade. Very good for fair skin because I'm really building it up so it doesn't apply super crazy. It is warm without being extreme warmth on the skin, which is really nice because if I'm going to contour with a bronzer or, you know, do a little bronzer, whatever you want to call it, I need it to be kind of a little bit more neutral, warm, because it can look really weird on me really fast. I think this bronzer has the right type of pigmentation. It is there, it has color, it has a lot of pigment, but it is very buildable and very blendable. I'm really liking this. Another yay for Maybelline. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm gonna use a little BH eyeshadow brush to contour my nose. That concealer really grabbed onto dry skin on my nose as well. I'm gonna change gears a little bit before we go in and do the rest of the face products. I'm gonna quickly move on to brows. So I have something new from NYX. This is the Fill and Fluff eyebrow pencil, and I have the shade Brunette. This one was described as a pomade pencil, which is really cool. That sounded very intriguing to me, but the brush is what really got me. I have some pictures to insert, but it has a little bit more of a triangular tip, and then this brush is very, very different. I've not seen one quite like this, and I don't quite know what to expect from this, but it is a Fill and Fluff, so it's supposed to give you fluffier, thicker, fuller brows. So we're gonna try it out and see how it goes. I can kind of do this without a spoolie. Like at first I was like, well, I need a spoolie and this little fluffy brush, but I think I can make it work. Ooh. Hello, eyebrow pigment. All right. I got the shade Brunette. So I think with this one, if you can have a light hand with this, then I would go with your normal shade. But I will say this, it is very easy to apply too much. If I went in with the regular amount that I typically do with a pencil, with the same pressure and all that, it would be really dark and heavy. So just keep that in mind that with this one, you want to have a lighter hand because it's really going in very thick. It's a very creamy consistency, so keep that in mind. Okay, so if you are someone who really needs to fill in the brows, maybe your hairs are a little bit sparser, I think this would actually be really amazing. It is, however, very, very creamy, and as you can see, it is intense. I've got one eyebrow looking completely like fluffy, furry, thick, large and in charge, all that good stuff. And I'm going to go finish the other one because I honestly look insane right now. But I have to say, I actually like this. My only concern is with it being so creamy and emollient that it might easily wipe away, but we're gonna just test that out towards the end. But I actually really like this, and the brush seemed a little gimmicky to me, but again, if you do want to just really thicken up and fill in those brows, it's actually quite nice. So I'm gonna go finish my other brow and then we'll come back and dive into some more products, like this one here. Alright, I do not have a brand new blush, so I'm going to go in with the Milani, the powder blush in Blossom Time Rose. I have worn this a few times and it is newer to my collection, but I absolutely love these blushes. So Milani usually is a brand that I really, really enjoy. I'm just going to place it the apples of my cheek and blend up and back. And unlike some of the powder blushes with the little flower print, this one has some luminosity to it. So I actually really love this one for summer. If you don't mind a little bit of a glow, this one is really gorgeous and it's very buildable, which is right up my alley. It doesn't have insane coverage where I have to be ultra careful. Anytime I have to build up the color, I'm happy. That means I can really do what I want with it and it's not overpowering blush. So pretty. So I do have a new highlighter. This one is from e.l.f. Wow, it just says white gold. e.l.f. white gold. So it hasn't been long since I ordered this. Hold on, let me look. Let me look and see. Oh no, they do have it. It's just called by two different things. So this is the Metallic Flare highlighter from e.l.f. and this is the shade White Gold. Only $6 for this one. So I have high hopes. Nothing like your favorite brush being freshly clean. So I'm using the MAC 133. This is always my favorite highlighting brush. There's a swatch. It just looks really faint on the finger on the swatch. That doesn't mean it can't look beautiful. I really dug in with this finger to get a little bit more out of it. I'm just gonna go crazy with my brush. It's like nothing is on my brush whatsoever. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so you can see something. It's just subtle, but again, remember that blush has some luminosity to it, so I'm really seeing mostly luminosity from my blush. I don't know, I'm trying to find a way to make this work. Okay, I've really dug it out with my finger. Surprisingly not disturbing to the rest of my makeup to just apply this with my finger, because sometimes that can be a little bit much, and I've already seen how that concealer did a little bit weird with foundation and other products. Apparently not a problem with this. Okay, so the gorgeousness of this product is there. You just have to really dig for it. When it shows up, it is gorgeous. I have to say that. This does not accentuate any texture, pores, anything like that. It looks gorgeous, but man, I had to like really dig to get to anything that was worthwhile. Let's move along before I continue to talk. So I'm gonna go in with the BH Cosmetics Santa Fe palette. This one is not necessarily drugstore, but they are super affordable, and not only that, they have amazing quality. So I always like to use BH products. Anytime I see a palette of theirs, they just look gorgeous. So I do have a close-up to show you, but this palette is stunning. It has so many warm colors. It's got a lot of mattes. It has some shimmers in there. And then it even has this little pop of turquoise called a Rio Grande. But I just couldn't wait to dive into this. So the first thing I'm going to do is just go in with Adobe, which is down here. I'm going to use a Morphe brush to start out with. It's a little fluffier. Definitely packed on some pigment. So let's start blending. No surprise at all that that is looking beautiful so far. I do feel like if you haven't tried BH Cosmetics, you have got to just look for any palette. I love this one. I love the Festival. Any of the regular eyeshadow palettes that I've tried, they're beautiful. I love the Zodiac ones. Now those do have some baked ones and some regular shadows, so it has a good mixture, but I just don't think you can go wrong with their palettes. So I'm dragging that color out a little bit, and I'm gonna grab a different brush. This is the Firma 204, and I'm gonna go in with a crease shade. So I think I'm going to switch it up a little bit, and I'm gonna go for Chili, which is down here. More of a red, maybe a little rust red. Ooh, really pretty. Shows up a little bit more of like a strawberry type shade on the eye, so I'm gonna mix it a little bit. I'm gonna take the shade Plaza right here and mix that together and kind of get the shade I was kind of going for in the first place. It just came on a little bit more pinky red than I expected. Just packing on that color, I think that'll do nicely, so I'm gonna focus on using a bit more of that shade Plaza. I'm gonna blend. I'm going to take an even smaller brush. This is the Luxie 121 Mini Tapered, and I want to grab something dark. So I'm going to go for the shade Sage, which is all the way out here on the right hand little side. This one looks gray black. I know that may be a little bit of a weird choice, but I'm going to get some darkness going in the crease and outer corner. I'm going to blend that a little bit with the brush that I used for the shade Plaza, and then that kind of strawberry color I picked up. And I'm going to go back to my very first brush and just blend the edges and go over it a little bit. So this may be a mistake, but I'm going to try it out. I'm going to actually take some of this Milani concealer and try it for cutting the crease. I don't know. We'll see how this works out, but I'm going to use this BH number 11 from the Rose Gold collection, taking that concealer, and we're just going to cut a little bit of the crease out. I'm going to take the shade Mesa, which is this little shimmer right here, and just pack it over that concealer. It's a little chunky, but as you can see, gorgeous. Definitely getting some fallout that could have easily been fixed by just doing shadow first, but I'm not worried about it. And I'm going to go back into Sage and just kind of blend that edge a little bit. Alright, I am not shocked at all. I love this Santa Fe palette. Everything turned out beautiful. The only little hiccup was that Mesa, this shimmer shade, was really chunky and I had some fallout. Wetting it helped a little bit, but of course you could just do eyes first. I, for whatever reason, I love doing foundation first, and I do run into hiccups now and then where I'm like, I could have done my foundation after my eyes. But yeah, I cleaned it up. It's not a big deal. Everything turned out okay. So far so good. I really like this one. The mattes blended out really beautifully, and like I said, not surprised at all. I did, as you can see, pop some of Rio Grande, this like bright aqua shade, under my eyes. Love that little touch. And now it's time to get into some eyeliner. I do have two different eyeliners to try out. The first is a L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise Liquid Liner. So this one has the packaging where you pull it out, and that is your tip. So I kind of usually prefer pin form, but the mascara is just so good that I thought, why not try this one out and see how it goes? So let's do it. Okay, it is ultra black.
Oh, shit.
It did dry down kind of quickly, even on the little applicator, so I just had to dip back in. Not a huge deal, especially when it is so freaking black, man. Well, that was an easy wing that actually turned out really nicely. Let's just see if we can match the other side. It does seem like, just at first glance, this formula is one of those that might get a little bit crunchy. Some of them you find that they dry down and then you can't really layer over it or kind of fix it. So right here on the edge, it is kind of broken up and it's not smooth. And I tried to go back in and just kind of fix it, make it a little bit more even. And it wasn't really going for it. It kind of skipped there at the end. That's my only little pet peeve. and this is not a very fine point. That's kind of why I like the pen form a little bit better, but this is super, super black. If you were only applying it on the lash line just to get like a super black liner, it would be amazing. So far so good. Just the only thing is the tip is not very fine. So the sad part was the second eye actually did a much better job applying it, but then I looked at the other one and I was like, frick, I have to go in and make the other one worse. So I don't know, I did a better application on this side, probably just after using it and kind of getting the hang of it for a few seconds. Then the application got a little bit easier. For Drugstore liner, it's pretty darn good. But if you want something ultra black and that's your main concern, absolutely 100%. They really did that. I have an easier time applying with a pen versus this style. So for it to have come out kind of really well, really quick, I'm kind of impressed. So I do have one more liner. So this one is the L'Oreal Infallible Longwear Eye Pencil, and I have the shade Cobalt Blue. So this may contrast a little bit with that aqua on the lower lash line. I'm okay. I want to try this one out and just see how it works. So this one says it's good for the waterline. It's supposed to be long wear and waterproof. So we're gonna try it. It's kind of like non-existent on my waterline right now, but there's a little swatch of it. I'd love to see it in my waterline though. Hello. So I've said this a couple times recently because I've been kind of getting into putting color in my waterline again. Not something I always do, but the only reason I don't do it is because nothing stays for me. But lately I've had a really good luck with the ColourPop pencils and also the one from Kiko Milano that I tried. Love that one, and that one's not bad. It's $10 and I found it on sale on their website too. So this is a really pretty color, but in the waterline, even after going over it a few times, it's just not showing up. It is very sheer color, and I feel like I'm having to like really go in. So I don't want to hurt my eyes. It actually feels a little uncomfortable trying to add that color, so I'm just going to let it go. I feel like this would be really nice to just regularly line the eyes, and I will try it for that purpose as well. But as far as, oh, and look at that, it's hanging around, it's not going anywhere. So probably not the best for the waterline, at least for me personally. I don't know, you guys may be able to see a little slight difference. It's just hardly there. So a couple more things. We're gonna go in with the Rimmel Scandaleyes Wow Wings mascara. So this one is in this bright purple packaging. It's got a rubbery type bristle, and it's literally like winged out. I don't know if you'll be able to see it very well, but the bristles are quite different in a very interesting shape. I don't love rubber bristles because I tend to hurt my eye with them, but we're gonna see how it goes anyway. Not bad. I'm actually kind of impressed with this one. It's not doing anything like amazing for length, but I see some length, some volume, some curl. It's super black. This is the shade 003 Extreme Black. I think it's so funny. I've had people ask me before, what's the difference between like noir and ultra black or something like that, and I'm like, they're black. I don't know. I don't have, what is the big difference? But it is richly black mascara, so that is a good thing. I'm gonna flip it over and just put a little bit on my lower lashes. Man, just using what was left on the brush after doing both eyes was still a lot on my lower lash line. So I'm actually kind of pleased with this mascara. It does not beat out my CoverGirl Exhibitionist mascara, but it is pretty good. I'm excited about it. So we've got one more thing to go, and that is the, also from Rimmel, Lip Art Graphic. This is liner and liquid lipstick. So it's in a little slim form, and what you have is a little applicator. It is so cute. When I saw these, I was like, wow, let's give it a go. I actually really like these. So it was much easier to line my lips with this than I thought it would be. I wasn't sure because the applicator itself it's flexible but not too flexible. So I feel like it's the right consistency, and I actually really love this. I have the shade 760 Now or Never, and it's a good like sepia kind of color. Does that sound right or just terribly wrong, I'm not sure, but I do like the color a lot. I think it complements this eye look. It's a little monochromatic, but then I have that little aqua blue kind of mixing things up a little bit. So I actually really like this. I would be very intrigued to try some more. Again, these are lip art graphics from Rimmel. I'm going to quickly wrap things up because my camera keeps trying to die. Most of this was really, really good. Again, my only kind of like pet peevey things were the concealer dries super, super fast. So my recommendation would be to start in one area, blend it out, and move on. It's probably not the best combination. So maybe with a matte foundation, this would blend a little bit better. It didn't quite want to work on the edges of my concealer here where the foundation and concealer, it's like they didn't quite get along, but it was okay. I still want to try it. So far, it's great on the lid. I do have to say I'm glad I tried it for that purpose because my eyeshadow is looking really smooth. Of course, this is early into the process of wearing it, but so far, so good. Really digging the Maybelline Fit Me Dewy and the City Bronzer. Really digging both of those. I am really pleasantly surprised with this brow pencil from NYX. Again, the Fill and Fluff. It is not smudge resistant or transfer resistant, so I'll just give you an example. If I put my finger in, it does transfer a little bit, but if you're someone who doesn't touch your brows a lot throughout the day, I think you're going to be fine. But I love the application. Filling the brows in, amazing. It even did pretty good in the little hair-like strokes in the front because it's got that triangular tip, so not mad at that. I will continue to play with the powder and try to let you guys know what I think about it. The primer did well. The e.l.f. highlighter, the more I look at it, it is gorgeous. Again, you just kind of got to dig into it, but again, only $6, so I don't think you can go wrong. Pleasantly surprised with the mascara. I will continue to use the sponge. It is gigantic but good. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am all out of dad jokes, so if you've been looking forward to those, give me some time. We're gonna get back into it, and I'm just gonna figure out like what way I want to pull those. I want to get more cards or maybe a calendar or something. I don't know. Maybe a meme at the end of the video would be fun too. Let me know what you think about that. But I just appreciate you watching so much, and I love you guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
Oh, let me just add a little bit. Ooh, I went too far. Let me add over here. And then, you know, 3 hours later, your wing is to your hairline, and what has happened?